Now, are you planning to
No.
regale us with some
No.
notes?
I just bring this like it's like a baby blanket.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Is that your Bible?
It's my Bible.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
That's
Makes
fine.
me look holy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I should put it away.
Very, very holy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Chip Lunch podcast. It is very exciting to have you along with us, as always. And we're back talking to people at Soul Revival Church about their Christian walk. But before I do introduce our special guest, I'm going to introduce regular
The
guest.
non-special guest.
Yeah, the non-specific, non-special. I think I called you that a while ago. Brayden, how are you, mate?
I am very good. How are you?
Good, actually. You're looking very straight-laced today.
Oh, wow.
Done up.
Button-up shirt
you
makes all the difference.
Yes. I always like it if you would introduce our guest, though, please.
Yes. Welcome to Amy.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Very colourful. Is it cardigan? Is that what we call it?
I guess. Yeah.
I really like it.
Thanks.
Are they moths?
I think so.
Yeah, that's very
Butterflies.
I
Yeah.
was going to say I was going to
Well,
go
this
with
one
butterflies.
looks like a moth.
It does look like a moth, doesn't
The
it?
one at the bottom.
Yeah.
A moths, moths just. I feel like moths don't really lend themselves to being that colourful.
I just feel like moths eat cardigans, so I'm finding that a very...
Maybe it is. Maybe that
Yeah,
is a
it's
moth eating the
distraction.
card.
Stops the other real moths coming. Yeah.
Oh.
We see in a few days time. There's these big holes in the
Yeah.
sleeves. I do apologise if I cough because I've been sick, but I had a cold or something, and I've got this lingering cough that's been lasting for like
it stays
2 or 3 weeks. Anyway,
Just make sure you do it into the microphone.
See? When I laugh as well, it's really bad. Amy, it's really lovely to have you on. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Your rings are really sparkly too.
Oh,
I
is
just
it?
noticed them. Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
clean them?
No, well, I just
You
went
do?
for a swim.
Oh, did you?
So I reckon,
Swimming laps?
yeah, you see my panda eyes.
How many Ks you get in this morning? Then?
Oh, not very far. I went into the ocean, so it was a bit nippy.
Yeah.
Was it like real cold?
Pretty cold.
And was it smooth or rough?
No, it was very smooth.
Oh,
Beautiful.
lovely.
It was so clean.
I feel a bit scared open water swimming.
I don't go outside in the ocean,
Oh.
in the ocean pool.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I do know people that go open water swimming, and I'm just like, I just
Yeah.
feel like so exposed. Like,
Yeah, I get very scared. I do.
there's a shark
yeah.
coming. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, what were you going to say?
No, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Or stingrays.
people do tell me they see rays go and swim underneath them.
Well, I haven't, but the guy down at the pool who swims sometimes when I'm there, he said he saw 100-kilogram stingray in the rock pool that is the one adjacent to the one, and I've swum in there before. So
Really?
I'm not swimming in that one again.
I'm just curious, how did you know it was 100 kilos?
Yeah.
Did
He
you
was
get
with
the scales
a
out?
fisherman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, the story gets a bit exaggerated when fish are involved, I guess. But
It was definitely 500 kilos.
yeah, that's right. No, he said he was with a fisherman, and the fisherman predicted.
Oh, okay.
But isn't he the liar?
The
He's gonna
fisherman,
exaggerate?
yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, this story is very fractured.
Sorry, I'm ruining your story. 100 kilo stingray was in.
It was a big stingray.
It was a big stingray.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they get into the pools either.
Well,
they
it was
just get
after
washed
the big,
in.
after
yeah.
the big storms.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
don't swim in that one.
Now that I heard about that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, then you have to just dodge 100 kilo people. Let's get on with the podcast then, shall we? The first question that we ask everyone, Amy, is how do you like to eat your hot chips?
Oh, I like to eat my hot chips by myself.
Is this a mother of four?
Never in 12 years, I think, have I had hot chips just to myself. That's my dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there
Yeah.
a choice of salt? If you were eating it by yourself,
By myself, bit of chicken salt, not too much.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, is that
Oh, Joel's
Taboo.
on the plain salt wagon.
okay?
yeah, there's it's
Yeah.
always a question we ask, and that Ethan and Brayden, who have been on the podcast,
Yeah.
they're very much chicken salt. But I like, don't mess with the classics.
The
Just-
plain salt, it's a small community, but it's a tight community, I feel like.
I like that. I'd like to.
Well, I
I'd
got
like
the
to
plain
belong.
salt at home, so if I'm getting takeaway hot chips, got to go a bit exotic and get the chicken salt.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to pander to him. He's fine.
Yeah.
He knows he's losing this battle.
Is that a link to Amy's panda ice? Is that what you said?
No, there's just a word I have to fit in every podcast. This one's panda related.
Yeah. Any sauce? That's the other question I like. Any sauce related to the chips?
At home, yes. When I'm out, no, I won't pay for sauce. I don't think.
Not that extra 20 cents.
I agree with. I mean, I still probably pay for sauce, but I agree. I think sauce should be free if you can hot chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those little tiny sachets, there's not enough.
No, there's definitely not enough sauce. You always run out.
Two.
You're like, you need to get two.
It's
But then
40 cents.
sometimes two isn't enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Especially if you're sharing.
Yes, with a family of 6. I only have a family of 5.
Yeah. Plenty of seagulls around.
Next question. How did you become a Christian, Amy?
Well, it's funny. I feel like I've been a Christian for as long as I can remember. Both mum and dad are Christians. Dad was raised Roman Catholic. Mum was raised in an Anglican church, and so we always attended church with mum, and I've never really remembered a time when I didn't see myself as part of God's family. But I think there's significant moments in my adolescence and in my early 20s where it became my faith and not the faith of my parents.
I feel like there's quite a lot of people say that that have been part of a Christian family.
Yeah.
That there's always a point where they take on the faith themselves rather than being the faith of their parents.
That's right, where you've got to own it for yourself.
Which church was that?
So we I began at St. Mark's at Malabar, which was quite a small church. There was very few. I think I was the only person my age at that church. So it was quite an elderly congregation and some small young children. My brother and sister went there too, so it was us three were kind of that age group. So it was I didn't know of a youth group. I never attended youth. It's funny looking back, I didn't even think that there were other Christians my age. It's very weird.
Yeah.
You're the only one?
Yeah, I felt like I was the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved that church, and the older men and women there, they just loved looking after me and loved chatting to me and asked how my life was going, and they invested in me. I have very fond memories of St. Mark's. And then I was invited to attend we moved around Australia a little bit too when I was in my teens. So high school years, we moved to Perth for 3 years. So we attended a kind of like a high Anglican church over there.
Yeah.
Where I was an altar server. It was a bit interesting. So I experienced a bit of that. And then we moved to Townsville for a year. I went to the Cathedral Church up on the hill in Townsville.
Wow. What sparked them moving around? Was it like jobs or?
Yeah, so it was Dad's job.
Yeah.
Dad was involved in the rugby league. So he was assistant coach, and so we moved and followed him. He went and
to the Perth,
began the Western Reds.
Western Reds, I was trying to remember what that team was.
So that was a team that came and went, but he was over there as being the assistant coach, and then we moved up to Townsville because he got a job with the Cowboys. Yeah. And then we came back to Sydney, and I finished year 12 back in Sydney.
Is he still involved in rugby league?
Not anymore, no.
Not anymore. Oh, okay.
No.
What was his name?
Bob Sheens.
Oh, I know that name. I've seen that name before. Yeah, I've seen it around. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so my uncle is also involved in the rugby league. He's Tim Sheens.
Tim Sheens.
Yeah.
Yep. Canberra Raiders coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also coached the West Tigers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a big part of growing up for my brother and my sister and I. We'd go to the football every Saturday and
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you're going to like top level rugby league games for a lot of your life?
Yeah, every Saturday or whenever it was a home game, got good seats. Dad got me a job he got me a gig. A media pass, and so I would photos down on the sideline, and my brother was a ball boy, and
Oh, that would have
it
been
was
cool,
really
taking
fun.
photos down
Yeah.
on the sideline.
yeah, it was really fun.
That's the one thing I think that Brayden and I are both like big fans of football, like
Yeah.
soccer,
Yeah,
but the experience that you would get to be like sideline
yeah, it's
of
pretty
like
awesome.
a top level game would be pretty
Yeah,
cool. So
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
So you did enjoy
Yeah.
that though, or was it just something
I
the family did?
The footy,
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it because, it was very special. We got to got a lot of benefits from it, being on the sideline and
Yeah.
free tickets and everything. Not a lot of my friends were interested in the footy, so it wasn't something to boast about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good.
Mm.
Yeah.
How did you find the moving around to a few different churches over those kind of like teen years? Did you find that affected
Yeah.
your relationship with church a little bit, or
Oh,
how did you
yeah.
go with that?
I think it prevented me feeling connected to people my age who were Christians, and I think that's why I came out of the end of it in Year 12 going, oh, there's other Christians out there, because I'd never attended a youth group or being involved in anything like that.
Not even when you went to Perth or anything like that?
No,
Okay.
no. I did Sunday school, taught Sunday school at
Oh,
that
yeah.
church, but it was like the young ones, and I was the sort of in-betweener.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I regret that. I think that's something that I would have really been blessed by, a connection with other Christians my age during those, that period of your life. But I found moving hard
Yeah.
in retrospect for friendships.
And
Yeah.
establishing relationships with people, but then also
Relationships,
you
yeah.
don't know if when
Yeah.
you're leaving. It's the life of a coach a lot of the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I look at like NFL coaches, and they just like, I've coached in they've coached in like 6 different cities
Oh yeah.
after they've like graduated from college or something. And
Yeah.
it would be really hard.
Be very hard.
It'd be
on
tough on
family
family.
life.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Mum did an amazing job.
Do you feel like that made you closer as siblings? Like,
Definitely.
did you move
Yeah,
on?
definitely. Yeah, we had each other. And starting a new school, I still remember that feeling, that yucky feeling of rocking up on the first day
Yeah.
and not knowing anyone and just feeling so terrified. But you'd come home to your brother and sister and they've gone through the same thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can just be yourself with them. You don't have to put on the face of being cool or popular or
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think that's made you more adaptable in later life, or are you more likely to say, no, I don't want to make things very changeable for either my family or myself? Which way do you think you lean?
I think it came to the fore when we moved out this way. So 2 years ago we moved to Sylvania.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were at our previous church. I was there for 25 years at my last church. And I was really worried about how it would impact the boys. Yeah, just because of personal experience. Took a lot of tears and angst and prayers
Yeah.
because I remember that feeling. But I think it's also different moving in primary to high school.
Yeah.
I think high school is really, it's such a big time of developing who you are and developing your friendships. Maybe primary school, it's still challenging, but, there's a lot of fluctuation. And maybe friendships aren't so core to your being as when you're a teenager.
Yeah, because it's similar things. You're going through a lot of upheaval all at the same time.
Yeah.
So to be in a group of people where that's happening, it's a little bit more comforting. But if you're moving in and out of that, as well as going through a time of upheaval and development, like you're saying, it can be pretty intense. So how old were you when you were moving around?
So after I did year 7 at Sydney Girls, and then we went to Perth for 3 years. So they have a different situation. So I jumped to year 9.
Oh,
So
wow.
from year 7 to year 9, and I was already pretty young. And so I was suddenly, my friendship group, who I was so desperate to connect with and be friends with, they were all 2-3 years older than me.
Wow.
And they were doing year 9 girl stuff, you know. They were into boys and they were, you know, going to parties and stuff. And I was still very immature.
Yeah.
And I just remember feeling, like I was floundering a bit, desperately trying to be popular and not knowing. And I don't think it was the right time for me to be in that setting anyway. I'd missed out on 2 very important years of growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to ask, before that though, you said that your dad was Catholic and your mum was Anglican. How did that shape you and as a family as well?
Yeah, I think it's still shaping us.
Okay. Do tell.
Yeah, no. Well, Dad, he was raised in a Roman Catholic family, and he went to St. Greg's boarding school. His father died when he was a boy, so he was put there. And I think that's a very big part of his family dynamic. You know, he's very much... he loves that part of his life, and I've never heard of so many sort of reunions as what happens with his school.
Oh, really?
Because they all, you know, supported and cared for each other during that time, and I think it really shaped them. So Dad's had that heritage, and Mum's come from a different side of things with her faith, but they're both Christians and they express it differently. I think that's been more of a challenge for them maybe in the past than it is now. I was baptised as a kid in both churches.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that's done to me.
Yeah.
So I think they were ticking a few boxes, making sure that everything was covered.
Yeah.
Yep. You were properly washed.
Properly washed, that's right. That's right. But Dad and I, we sit differently in some things. But I know that he believes in Jesus. And I know that he loves God and he's trying to shape his life to reflect that. We've had some good conversations, but also some difficult ones, which I'm glad of, because it helps me to think outside of my own sort of,
Your own perspective.
my own perspective and, on all sorts of things. Yeah. And I hope that I can shape him somewhat too.
My guess would be that you are, but can't say that for sure.
Yeah.
My next question though is going to be, we kind of started this conversation about how you became a Christian, but then we talked about how you moved around and stuff.
Yeah, moved around, yeah.
When was there, you talked about some moments where it's like, this is actually, I need to take this for myself. When were those times?
Yeah. I think a really big time for me was when in year 12, when we came back from Townsville. We came back and I didn't want to come back. I just found my group in Townsville and I was so happy there. I loved that school. We were there for less than a year. It was just the most beautiful set of friends that I had, and I still think I'm grieving that even after all these years. It's really weird. But I felt like it had been taken, and then I went back to Sydney Girls and all the friends were different. You know, I'd missed 5 of those years and straight into the HSC, which I'd come from a different curriculum in Queensland, so I had to learn year 11 and then year 12 stuff. And I got depression. So I remember year 12 as just being this horrible year of felt like I'd lost all of my friends. I'd felt like I was in a place where I didn't want to be. And I think I got pretty unwell, and I started on some medication and seeing a doctor and things like that, which was all very good. But I think that's when it started my personal relationship with God, because I felt so alone in that sickness that the only person who could hold my hand was God. Yeah. So I think I think that's all, been the continual pattern, is those difficult moments is when I've connected with God and seen him as my personal God.
With all that stuff going on for you in year 12, what, when you realised the only one that could really lead you through it was God, what changed for you after that?
I started to seek him out myself. So rather than just going to church and running the Sunday school program because they needed somebody to do it, I actually started reading my Bible myself and praying myself, and I discovered a conference and that I never knew existed, and I went up to Katoomba by myself.
Oh yeah.
And I remember that feeling of looking into that big, that big metal roof, the shed
thing.
and looking at 2,000 Christians who were young like me and just being blown away, thinking, oh my goodness, this is what I've missed. I didn't realise there was a whole community out there of other like-minded people. And the talks were pitched at my sort of setting and what I needed to hear. And I just loved that. And I think it took off from there, just connecting with other Christians. I ended up moving to another church. So I moved to St. John's at Maroubra, and I was invited there by some other kids, well, they were young adults of a parishioner at St. Mark's. So they were the McCarthys, and they said, this is a great church, but you should come to our evening service over at St. John's. And so I went over, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's a church of young people. What?
Yeah.
So, and then I started to meet friends and have that social network of friends that I'd been so missing.
Which you often didn't have when you were growing up too, or weren't in for very long.
That's right, And they were deeper friendships too. It instantly went really deep, quickly, and it was really good.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
And so coming out of high school, what were you thinking of doing? Like it's great that you were able to find a church that you could call your home, but what else were you thinking of doing throughout your life?
Yes, well, I first enrolled in a environmental science degree, and then I thought, I don't know, so I deferred. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then I remember just loving drama at school.
Oh, yeah.
And in Townsville we had a fantastic drama teacher, and I just had such fond memories of drama class.
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try drama at uni. Just going to try it. So I enrolled in arts degree in theatre, and Mum encouraged me to do another major as well. Maybe she wasn't so convinced. Yeah. So I majored in French and theatre. And
sorry, but
it's a bit of an unusual combo.
It's like go something that's a little bit more reliable. French, like it's a country that doesn't speak French.
I think Mum's a passionate francophone at heart.
Is she?
Yeah, she loves all things French.
All right.
And I'd done French for my HSC. But so I did theatre at UNSW, and I did English as well, and I really loved it. Loved it. So then I did continued to do my master's in theatre, and that's where I thought I'd go. I thought I would be involved in the theatre industry somewhere.
You're going to tread the boards? Isn't that a saying?
Yeah,
you tread the boards? in theatre?
Yeah. Well,
you didn't.
I didn't like doing acting. I did, but it wasn't I didn't want to be in front of I do want to do this.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Here I am. But I loved backstage stuff.
Okay.
And I loved, I wanted to be a dramaturg actually.
A what? Sorry?
So it's a very niche job. So I majored in this. Well, I did my master's in dramaturgy. So a dramaturg is...
It did sound a little bit like dramaturg.
Yeah.
No, sorry,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I
no,
wanted to check. Or
does.
turg. I'm like,
Turg.
is that some
Yeah.
kind of slur? It sounds like.
So I wanted to do that. That's a job where you sort of uphold the integrity of the script, the way that the script, the writer intended the play to be, rather than a director coming along and just mushing it and destroying it and taking any kind of meaning from it because they want to set it in space or something. The dramaturg comes along and goes,
the Week Away
you might
videos."
want to rethink
I
that.
don't think Shakespeare knew
I
about
don't think
space.
Shakespeare wanted ...
Okay.
Yeah. So I really thought that.
Holding up the
We might need you for the next Week Away Kids videos to uphold the integrity, so
need
we
a
don't set it
dramaturg.
in space again.
Yeah.
Well, that's really
Yeah.
cool. So what's your favourite play ever?
Oh, I'd have to say Hamlet.
Okay.
Yeah, I love
I
Hamlet.
just really struggle with Shakespeare. I really appreciate theatre, and I have as I've got older, I'm like, man, some of the way the actors are just able to remember all their lines for what, an hour and a half long show or something. It's just so fascinating to me how they can do that. But Shakespeare is just like, what's he saying?
It is like another language. Yeah.
Mm.
So dramaturg, is that what it is?
Yeah,
and
TURG.
And that would be like mostly the pre-production stuff, like when they're rehearsing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So many moving parts. It's so interesting.
Yeah, except nobody really was looking at employing dramaturgs for money anyway.
They could speak French.
That's right. Those that spoke very bad French.
It's like on your resume, I speak French and
A
also
little bit.
a little, and then dramaturg.
That's right. I know. I didn't really make career choices for money, but
I think
For
that's a good move. Yeah, for the love.
it was for the love,
It
and
was.
I really I love it, and I still love it.
Yeah.
I go to plays now, and I go, they need a dramaturg.
Yeah. Excuse me. It's just in the middle of the play.
That's right. It's a bit late, but
Wrong.
but I think I remember I was on a secondment actually, thinking, this is where I want to be. I was in amongst the actors, watching them do their thing, just being so enthralled.
Treading the boards. So
Well, they were treading the boards. That's right. I was sitting.
That's saying so funny to me. But
You like that saying, but I was not on the boards,
Mm.
just sitting there with my notepad, writing along, and I thought, I can't see any Christians here.
Okay.
I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to enter this industry and serve God and theatre.
Right.
And it's a shame because I think it would be good to pursue it, and I should have really in some regards. But I think I needed to be around. I don't know whether that industry would have suited me. Yeah.
It wasn't a great influence.
I don't
Is that
know.
what you
Yeah,
mean?
it wasn't a great influence. It wasn't very it's not a reason to shy away from it. I kind of regret it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, in some regards. But I got a dip ed and I teach drama, or I taught drama. So that's okay too.
That's definitely what this church needs is more drama teachers.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, also, like,
There's only a few
that-
people that will hear that and go, "Oh, is he making fun of
Yeah,
us?"
what are you saying, mate?
But a lot of teachers, though.
yeah. But the person who like inspired you to follow that was a drama teacher.
That's
so
exactly
it's
right.
a cool opportunity to
That's
get to
right.
do that for other people.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had some great moments and great learning moments for me too, teaching drama and seeing kids enjoy it, and being able to provide a subject for those kids that don't find solace in anything other than drama.
Yeah.
You know, they're maybe really struggling with academic stuff. You give them something to do on stage or some kind of production moment like this, and oh my goodness, they're superstars, and they just feel they've found their thing. And there's been some girls that I've taught that have gone on to do stuff in like a career in theatre, and it's been great.
Yeah,
because I think, well, that's good. You've got to offer that stuff.
Yeah,
and provide it for all sorts of people.
Yeah, I remember in high school for year 11 and 12 on a Thursday, I had 2 doubles, and one was double art and one was double music.
Yeah.
And that sustained me for the rest of the week.
Bliss.
That was like the best day ever.
Best.
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just getting to like express yourself in a creative way. And it's so different to the rest of the school curriculum in that way. In just getting to, like, if that's what you love, like Leo for Joel is like, he's just stoked about maths, and that's like his favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
And you just see like when you get to express that passion you have about something that God's gifted you with, something that you just love. It's so good to have that as part of like high school, because I would have gone crazy without it. Absolutely.
I actually genuinely regret not doing drama at school. I think I would have really enjoyed it.
I went to a really good talk last night, actually. At Innerborough, they had a lecture on is the live performance still important? And they spoke about it from a Christian angle, that the arts and things like theatre or music or whatever it is what makes us human. It's what separates us, and it's in God's design. God's creative. He made the world beautiful. He didn't make it just practical and useful. But he made crazy creatures just because he could, and beautiful sunsets just because he wanted to do it and make it beautiful. And that's being able to express ourselves in that way, like you can in drama class as, you know, a young adult, is something that taps into God's design for us.
And I think, and as you're saying, that God is creative himself, and I think we're all, because we're made in his image, we're all creative in our own ways. Like, I'm terrible at painting and drawing, for example. Brayden is great at drawing. But like, I might be more creative in something else. And I think that I think that sometimes we even box creatives into just drawing and painting and drama and all that. But I think we're all creative, and it's just how he's actually gifted us in certain ways to be creative in whatever it is. Like you mentioned my son Leo before, he's creative in maths. He'll do creative games related to maths.
But he comes up with like solutions and things, and you're solving problems. I think,
That's right.
There's much more to creativity than just say painting
or music or whatever it is.
That's right. That's right.
How many plays have you put on as a drama teacher?
Well, I haven't really put on plays like musicals or big performances, but lots of like showcases, or at the school that I was at, they would have an international day, which was so good, where the whole school would have, you know, food stalls, and they'd dress in their international dress. It was really fantastic multicultural school, and so they'd do dances, performances, so we'd do that, showcases.
Is that what a showcase is? You do like a one-off event kind of thing? Okay, right. Because when you said showcase, I thought of someone opening a briefcase.
Showing their case.
It wasn't saying that to be rude, sorry, I was just clarifying what it was. Let's talk about more of those times though of you relying on God, because you said in difficult times, if you're happy to share about them. Because I'm assuming you've been a teacher for quite a while, so there's a big, we kind of went from deciding not to be a dramaturg to being a teacher for quite a long time. What's happening in that time for you in terms of your faith?
I think God was very kindly fostering it at the 6 p.m. service at my previous church. I was learning a lot. I was being refined a lot. I was attending Bible studies, working out what my role was in serving, how I could be used. so there was a long time of being an immature Christian that was being refined and thinking about others rather than myself. I was watching at Bible study, I was watching older couples demonstrate how to be hospitable, open their home to a bunch of very selfish young Christians who ate and then left and never washed up. Or, but I was watching them do that, and that was, having a big impact on my heart and going, that's the life I want to have.
Okay.
I want to have a home, and I want to have kids, hopefully, and I want to be able to offer that up to God. So many small moments like that, being invited into older Christians' homes and seeing how they serve and minister in their own unique way and what they do for young people. Yeah.
And do you think you've been able to do that yourself?
Yeah, I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love doing that. I haven't had the opportunity yet here at this church because of COVID, and we've only been here for a little while. But definitely is on my heart to do that. And Tim loves doing that too, which is a great joy in our marriage to do that ministry together. We've hosted lots of Bible studies in the past together, and so great memories and such great relationships come out of sharing your home and a meal with people.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Yeah, that's one of the
Can't
reasons why we do it at church every week,
Yep.
right? It's just because just sharing over a meal is one of the
So
most
good.
lovely things to do.
Yeah.
Is there a go-to meal you like to cook when people are around?
Probably a baked dinner.
Oh yeah, like a
Traditional.
is there a turkey? Or
Not
is
a
it
turkey.
Wow.
Not a turkey.
I don't know. I'm just seeing how I was trying to take it as far as it could go, and then you go, no, I just do this. That's why I brought up the turkey.
No, probably a pork roast.
Oh, okay.
Baked chicken's pretty good.
Yeah.
I do like a baked chicken, a whole chicken.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Been in the oven. What do you put on it?
Salt, garlic, olive oil.
That's it.
All the good stuff.
So, I mean, like it's very simple, but it's very. Isn't it great? You can find that stuff that just makes. This is why I like Italian cooking so much, because it's like it's so simple but has so much flavor in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it's easy to do as well, right?
Yeah.
Just slather it in some oil and put some garlic on it. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Brayden? Amy and I are off to do a cooking,
yeah,
cooking
exactly. I
afterwards.
was just like, thanks. Now you can hear my stomach grumbling. For the rest.
That's right.
So, you talk about being having a family.
Yeah.
Well, your dream was to, or one of the things you
Yeah.
were aspirational for was having a family and being hospitable.
Yeah.
Tell us about your family. Like, how did you meet your husband Tim, and
Yeah.
you've got a family of four boys?
Yeah, it wasn't smooth sailing straight away. I think I was looking in the wrong places.
For a partner.
Yeah, yeah. As I think I was still really yearning for connection. I was still in my early 20s. I was looking for friendship and looking for a peer group, and
You said you were really stoked when you found younger Christians, that
Younger
the connection was
Christians.
deeper. Like it sounds like that's something that you think you may have missed earlier when you were
I think I
moving
did.
around.
Yeah. But it wasn't as straightforward as I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
There's some regression there, and some poor choices, and but God was teaching me a lot about what it was that I really wanted, and a lot of those temporal things disappeared pretty quick. Disappointments or feeling that just really wanting somebody who would walk side by side with me and keep drawing me closer to God. That's what I ended up going, I don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
The other stuff doesn't matter. And in his generosity, God gave me Tim. And he's more than that. He's everything, much, much more than that. And I still think I don't deserve him, because he's just, he draws me closer to God every day. Yeah. Yeah, he's a
Oh,
very
lovely.
faithful man. Yep.
Sorry. Where did you meet?
Well, we met at church at St. John's. He was at this service that I was talking about, the 6 p.m. service, and we had led youth group together. I had been in his sister's Bible study, which he'd attended for years. It's like we were living these parallel train track lives. And then I think I was lamenting to my pastor's wife, who was one of my mentors. I used to look at the way she ran her family with 6 children and opened her home, and she was just a font of wisdom for me, and lamenting about boys. And she said, I think you should just ask Tim out.
Just ask that guy out.
Floored me. And so I did. I went up to him with a bag of oranges one night after church.
Is there a reason for the oranges?
I just needed something to break the ice.
Oh, that's smart though.
Yeah.
And I said, would you like these? And would you like to go for a coffee?
Okay, we do.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. Okay.
Where did you get a bag of oranges
Mum
from?
and Dad had this epic orange tree that used to fruit. And so it's funny because every time it fruits, I remember that's the time of year I asked Tim out when we went on our first date.
That's really cool.
Orange tree.
So fun. Just take a bag of
I know,
oranges.
it's a bit random.
No, but it worked.
It did. It worked, and But I think Tim has always been a server. He very rarely looks to his own comfort. It's like I used to watch him. He does a lot of kids ministry, and he'd be up the front acting absolute fool for Christ, and it's just like.
And you're like, I can't turk that.
My goodness,
that's perfect to the script.
Absolutely perfect. It's like David, when he dances and looks the fool and says, I'll just be embarrassed for God, I don't care. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so then we that was in my first year of teaching, actually. So I'd just gotten a full-time job as teacher at Burwood Girls. And I was teaching and dating Tim, and then we got married, and kids came later.
Yeah. Well, tell us about your.
Yeah.
I remember when we were doing the digital services online, and you're like, I'm a mum of 4 boys. I'm like,
yes.
Whoa. And two of them there's a twins. There's a set of twins.
Set of twins.
There's a twins in there.
Yeah.
A set of twins in there.
They don't like me calling them the twins, so I won't call them the twins. Harry and Bert.
Harry and Bert. Right.
But Jem's the eldest.
Yep.
And then Harry and Bert, and Sid is 5. So they'll all be at the same school next year.
Oh, that's exciting.
Really?
One and only year.
Oh, because
probably
Jem will be finishing.
Then Jem goes to high school after that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And tell us about being a mum.
Yeah.
What have you learned, and what has God taught you being a mum?
Well, it's very refining, that's for sure.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying to you, sorry. I'm saying to me as a parent as well.
Very refining. I think, it's definitely grown my relationship with God, because I can't do it. I'm really bad at it, actually. Some mornings I can't get out of bed. I don't know where to start. I feel like I've gone through the motions and cleaned this kitchen sink. I just did it. Why am I doing it again? And that can, I have realised after 12 years, maybe, it's taken me a bit longer than most, but it's not my strength. I can't do it on my strength. And anything good that's come out of our parenting is from God. He's filling up all the gaps and the deficits. I love them so much, but I'm going to make so many mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's my prayer that they don't hold it against me, but also that, they come to see that God is the giver of all good things, and it's not mum and dad, because we're trying our best, but I make mistakes every day. Yeah. So that's for the future, boys. Remember this. I'm sorry.
I also find like what you're saying there is an encouragement to mums and also all parents, because sometimes I just feel like you're just like, what's the point of this? Sometimes you're like, I've said not to do that thing so many times, and you're still doing it. But I think,
or I'll say to them, they'll just be fighting, and then I'll yell at them, "Stop yelling!" And I'll be doing exactly the same,
done the same
as
thing.
what I'm trying to rep. I'm such a hypocrite, you know. And I know that they'll see this more and more as they become teenagers. Yeah, but it is. I think I've learnt more than they have, and I have grown more than they have, which is amazing because there's 4 of them.
I think that's very true though.
As someone who grew up with 3 boys in a house, I feel like conflict is just part of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of how boys sort stuff out. Yeah. It's like got to get through the conflict.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty direct, or at least my family experience was with us 3.
Yes, it is a very physical household.
You know where everyone stands. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a little bit of a thing for you too, is that it's 4 boys? And plus Tim as well?
Yeah. Yes, it's hard to assert my femininity sometimes. They make lots of comments when I put mascara on in the morning. They tell me, Mum's got mascara on again. Or whatever it is that's slightly feminine. Yeah. But they're very beautiful boys. They're very affectionate. I'm never ever have I missed not having a daughter. They are so cuddly. They say beautiful, affectionate things. Yeah, I can't imagine life any other way.
I think that's like the flip side of what you're saying, is that you are the only woman in the house. So they're like, come on, we've got to make sure this this is the only one. We've got to look after it.
That's right. Yeah.
I thought I ripped the tablecloth down, but it's all good that we've taped on there. That's really, I'm struck by your honesty throughout this whole podcast, Amy. But is that what you would say as well to other mums that struggle with that stuff? Is that it's all through God's strength, not your own?
Yeah, definitely. Yep, and it's a refining process. I think God's never left me, even in those dark times. He's always been right there, even though I might not have felt him being there. And he's taught me a great lesson in it. So I think I have a greater respect for, I don't want to use suffering, but those difficult moments where you think, I can't do this. I don't know how to be this grown-up person. I feel like I'm still 19 and I've got to make adult decisions. But without those moments, we would just become so soft and floppy. And, he's making us sharp, and he's making us into shiny diamonds. Or, he's really... without those times, I don't think we'd be.
Yeah. Is there I was about to say Pacific. Is there a specific example that you can think of that illustrates what you're saying?
I can't think of a specific example.
That's okay.
Yeah. I think I've, not deliberately, but I don't remember much of that time of my life. Yeah. It's thank goodness Tim took videos and photographs, because I really, I think I just went into I just got to get through. I've just got to breastfeed one, breastfeed the other, feed the other, get them to sleep.
Very survival mode.
Very survival mode. And it sometime, I don't know when I came out of that. Maybe I'm still in it. But I think God really upheld me in that, even though I probably didn't have the energy to pray and I didn't have the energy to read my Bible. I hardly left the house. very little memory of it, but God carried me through that, absolutely. I can't remember it,
Yeah.
but I know He did.
Yeah.
It's also in relation to what you're talking about, also like, where do we find God in perhaps what we consider to be the mundane, but then He sees it very differently. It's that, and I think that's what you're talking about, is doing it on His strength. Is that you did say, like, I've just washed up and now the sink is full again. Like, I've experienced that to a degree, but and it's like, I've got to do the washing up. You got to, even as like mowing the lawn or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Something that I'm trying to work on now is like, well, where is God in this, rather than look at this boring task again. Like, I didn't used to have to do this when I was younger, when I was 19.
That's right.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. What has my life become?
The washing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and I don't know what the answer is to that yet, but it's more, what you've been saying is reminding me of how do we find God in all the parts of our life, not just the really tough times or the really exciting or joyful times. It's like, where do we find the God in the mundane of driving to work, or having to again put the kids to bed and then do the washing up. And it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, or all those kind of things. So thank you for making sure that we are thinking about that.
Yeah.
My final question, though, or our final question that we always ask on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
Me and my non-special guest.
Regular guest.
Yeah, so when you look back over your life so far, because there's still lots of your life to go, what do you wish you knew when you were a younger Christian that you know now as a Christian?
It took me too long to work this out. It's only been a recent understanding. I'm starting to realise that God is a generous God. I think for a long time, even up until a couple of years ago, I was in this state where I thought God was giving me difficulties to test me, to try me, to take away stuff that I didn't need, that might remove me from Him. Maybe I wasn't allowed to have that because it wasn't good for me, or I felt like I'd had this picture of God that He was stingy and strict, and if I wanted something, I don't ask it because He might think it's an idol, or I had this really I don't know where I got that vision from, or that idea. But recently I've really seen how the desires of our heart, God has put them there. It's not something to be scared of, or thinking that they're idolatrous. He's put those things in our heart because that's what makes us uniquely us. So we do have to be cautious about where that goes, and that we have to give credit to our Creator. But I think there's a freedom in seeing that God is generous. He doesn't want to be stingy. It's funny talking about hot chips. We went to the markets last week down at Cronulla, and I took Bert with me around the markets, and the others wanted to play at the park with Tim, but Bert wanted to have a look at the stalls with me, and I said, "Oh, come on, let's go get some hot chips up here." He said, "Oh, Mum, you are the best." Fancy getting us hot chips at the markets. And I said, "Look, this is, we had a really nice discussion about how I know that you love that, and I love giving you that.
Yeah.
I know how excited it makes you, and how your brothers are going to be squealing with delight when we rock up with hot chips. And if I could give them more gifts, I would, but it might spoil them." But if we do that, God says, how much more does He know how to give good gifts?
Yeah.
And I think I haven't recognised that in my younger years. Yeah.
So it's kind of like knowing the gifts that he's given us, but then aligning them with his will and what he wants us to do with them rather
That's
than
right.
using them for ourselves.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And everything is a good gift if used correctly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think that's really encouraging, by the way. Thank you. Probably time to wrap up the chips, as we like to say at the end of the podcast. But speaking of gifts, I think like one of your gifts, Amy, as I've observed across this podcast, is your authenticity, and I really enjoy that because you spoke about like many things in your life, but you're willing to openly talk about you experienced depression in high school and how being a mum is actually really, really hard, especially to 4 boys and all that. So I really value that, and I think that is one of your gifts.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know if it's true, but we'll throw to the guy that's training as a full-time pastor. But, I think I really appreciate that, and I found it really encouraging. So thank you. Thank you for coming on and
that's okay.
And
thanks for
regaling us with your
hosting. This was a lot
authenticity.
easier than I thought it would be. I was terrified.
Oh, were you?
Well, yeah.
Anything?
This is really
you don't need
easy.
to be terrified with us.
Yeah. Well, you dramaturged the script beforehand, so we knew exactly what to say and when.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add before we do wrap up?
Thank you so much, Amy, for coming
fun.
and openly talking about your story.
Yeah,
I think
the openness
really
was
encouraging.
beautiful.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It is time to wrap up the chips, but we always like to finish the Chip Lunch podcast with a one way. So if you so wish to join us in one of those, we can do that. One way.